This morning I'm starting off with a walk down Lief Street to the Port of Lief, an old part of Edinburgh. Don't know what those two buildings are, so when I get back I'll have to find out. This looks like it says the MS of Monte Casing. Eduardo Palazzi, 1901. But what it is a large fist with some icons on it, a couple copulating grasshoppers, some stairs that go up to something, symbolizing something. Another curious sculpture. They have writing around the bottom. Can't be sure what the language is. Might be French, might be Italian. Ah, this is a foot. What are those obelisks doing in between the toes? Someday I'm going to have to ask myself what it is that I think I'm learning by looking at churches. Granted, they seem to be the only thing that, one of the few things, that has design elements to it of interest. A few moments ago you probably noticed the Conan Doyle pub or hotel, whatever it was, but here is his subject matter, Sherlock Holmes. It's been raining as I walked my way down to Lief Port, but there's blue sky. First day I've seen today. Imagine living up here where that's your balcony up on top. And it looks like you have a skylighted room or skylit room over to the left. This is the end of Lief Walk, I think, unless it continues further down there, and it might just do that. This is New Kirk Gate. They still haven't got to the ocean yet. Now here I'm continuing straight ahead, as though Lief Walk went straight ahead on this pedestrian area. So looking at this map, I walked down here from Edinburgh Central, and I should be walking probably down through here somewhere. But this looks like this is where all the action of the port is. So we'll see. This blocky architecture again, of course. Here, interesting, its own wall of arches through which you can see the other wall, or another wall, with the tombstone inscriptions on there. Was this just merely a decorative wall to frame those second wall? Here are a couple more tabletop tombstone edifices, if you will. It's interesting that that tombstone in front of us has fallen over, but not to be restored apparently. There's more of that wall. And this a separate gate into the church grounds in the past. And through here we can see that it once was covered with a roof supported by these cast iron joists. So perhaps these represent, each of these arches represents a separate family's walled room, if you will, as we had seen in the other kirk in Edinburgh, where there were just distinct houses. Here another old church, abandoned apparently, with its rector's home, I think this is called. And this is a property for sale, apparently. It's funny how I can go to one church that's still alive, although filled with the memorabilia of the dead, and then you come to this church which is dead and no evidence of the memorabilia. When this was first built, did anyone believe it would not last for a millennium? the remains of the stained glass. Probably broken out by rocks and replaced by regular glass. There you can see where people have thrown rocks through. You get an eerie sensation here, not ominous, merely eerie, as I did with the mosques I saw in southeastern Europe that had been abandoned. It's kind of the feeling I get when I see an unidentified Egyptian mummy, of which there were thousands, if not hundreds of thousands at one time. The sense of something that had once been alive, that had a history, that probably was pretty darn interesting, and now lies dead. And this is St. Mary's, Star of the Sea, a Catholic church, still looking rather pretty in its design, although simple. That building is probably and was a very beautiful building. Look at the detail up on the top and the stained glass. And then this lovely building here, this one now a bar. Here another pretty statue to Robbie Burns, 1759, 1796. So this pretty building at the intersection of Constitution Street and that Robbie Burns statue. So I have been following Constitution Street as kind of a semi-extension of Leith Walk, hoping to get towards the ocean. This is a relatively new and I would suspect very posh apartment complex, and yet look at its view. A metal recycling dump, if you will, over there, a casino there, big industrial complexes here, and big ships over there. Well, at least I've found water, so that's an achievement of some sort. Big ship over there. This must have been an early terminal. And here's perhaps leading to open water. And here an old bridge that has been abandoned, at least for anything other than pedestrian. But the whole little area in here resurrected for a pond on which surrounds these apartment complexes. This is just not an ordinary bridge, but a swing bridge I just discovered. Here you can see where it rotates, and there's its open rotated position. And here we have an interesting view, and possibly all the way up that way was a channel for ships. We'll take a closer look at those in a few minutes. My guess is that these boats are permanently here unless there's another way out of here, because beyond this bridge is the bridge that's now used, and it doesn't appear to have any swing capacity. So I spoke to a nice lady walking her dogs a moment ago, and she pretty much indicated this is about it. Everything else has been commercialized and securitized, so you can't have access to it. It's just a modern seaport now. And these boats are in here for the long haul. Some of these higher floors may get you a view to the hills beyond the, what I'm guessing is the Firth of Forth. But other than that, you must make it pleasant for yourself here. An interesting concept. Here an old building is a holdout as a restaurant. Some of the hardware from the shipping era to add some relevance. Here a smaller but interesting swing bridge, and it's a double swing bridge. Both sides move on those probably bearing wheels there. This must have been an interesting spot in its day, particularly if people gathered here to drink tea. It might have been a hub of passage. Boats coming in from that direction. Here was the entry, and down here there must be underneath here some kind of machinery with a gear that locks into those teeth on the circumference of this bridge portion that causes it to turn. Yeah, here you can see the, I think they're called capstains, but the gear mechanism. Probably the bridge swung into this lower elevated cavity and locked in place for boats to pass and then return to position. And that may be some of the gearing that was used for it, although I think that's just something that came off the boat. This is all that remains to suck out any kind of imagery and allusion to the port city that this used to be. Bigger boat, clearly a restaurant. And there's our bridge. You can kind of almost imagine when this was a vital area. It is a tourist area now, but was a vital shipping and living area with swarthy characters and all, and boats passing out of the area behind me up through that channel to the right. These two boats being used as retrofitted as offices. It's an interesting thing. Architects might find it interesting. Perhaps the same with that ship. Here perhaps the evidence of the past, remains of a railroad line. And what we see now from this vantage point might give a little hint of some of the past. A clever icon, probably not old, but maybe, for this restaurant called The Ship. Again, I'm searching for something interesting, but I'm not finding much. I've walked down this extension of the channel, probably going back out to the sea somewhere, no longer used now, of course, for any kind of boating. Maybe not have been used in the past. It's so low. Mallards everywhere in the world. So this gives us the best that we'll see of this port area from here. Looking back to that intersection, I had lunch where that dark curtains, dark awnings are. It's called the Granary. And here's a building here that along what once was a quayside has some of the old equipment to give ambience and context. But you do wonder if that hardware on the side of the building was original or not. Anchors from who knows where. I was looking to see if there was a wear hole here from that thing turning, but I don't see any. All this could have just been planted here to make it interesting.